Has reviewed the PSI, the plea agreement, and heard the statements of all the witnesses, counsel, and the defendant himself, and reviewed the entire record as available to me. Revised Code 2929.11 provides that the overriding purposes and principles of sentencing are to protect the public from future crime by the defendant or others, to punish the offender, and to promote the effective rehabilitation of the offender using the minimum sanctions that the court determines accomplishes those purposes without imposing an unnecessary burden on state or local government resources. Sentences must be commensurate with and not demeaning to the seriousness of the offender's conduct and its impact upon the victim, and consistent with sentences imposed for similar crimes committed by similar offenders. To achieve these purposes, the court must consider the incapacitation of the offender, deterring the offender, deterring others, rehabilitating the offender, and restitution. Sentences are not based upon race, ethnic background, gender, or religion. The court must also consider the seriousness and recidivism factors outlined in Revised Code 2929.12, factors indicating whether the offender's conduct is more or less serious and whether or not the offender is more or less likely to commit crimes in the future. We don't see murders in Geauga County but once or twice a decade. So as Mr. Bangeter points out, my choice is limited. Mr. Kurzinger, you're going to life for prison, or you're going to prison for life. Question is whether or not I'm going to allow you to truncate that by applying for parole. I am essentially imposing the most serious penalty I can under the law solely within my discretion without the recommendation of a jury. On the other hand, you committed the worst crime that society has. You took the life of another human being. Not in self-defense, not in a fit of rage, but with prior calculation and design. You purchased a firearm, you took it with you, you lay in wait, and you shot her in the face. Presumably, she saw you coming, and she knew it was going to happen. She knew she was about to die. Mr. Bangeter points out you didn't run, you didn't attempt to conceal your act, you submitted to police officers, in my opinion, indicating you knew what you did. You knew what you were going to do, you had planned it out, you knew you committed a cold-blooded murder. Alexandria was working to better herself, by all accounts. She was making efforts to right her ship, become a productive member of society again, attempting to become a better mother for her and your children. You took that away. Mr. Bangeter and the prosecutor have both, used the word worst version of the offense, or that term. And while if we were in downtown Cleveland, maybe that were true. In Geauga County, the offense itself is the worst version of the offense. This doesn't happen here. And it shouldn't happen here. And as a result of all of those factors and what I have heard today, I am going to sentence you for count 1 of the indictment, aggravated murder and unclassified felony, to life in prison without the possibility of parole. You will be ordered to forfeit the firearm used in the offense, a Taurus handgun. I will not impose a fine. You have served 407 days in the Geauga County Jail to this point, and at the state's request, I will be dismissing counts 2 and 3 of the indictment. You will be ordered to pay court costs. If you fail to pay any financial penalty or cost, I may order you to perform a 40 hours a month community service, which will not happen in this case. And I will issue judgment for the costs for which execution may issue. You do have the right to appeal or seek leave to appeal the sentence I have imposed. If you're unable to pay the cost of an appeal, you have the right to appeal without payment. If you're unable to obtain counsel for an appeal, counsel will be appointed to you without cost. If you're unable to pay the costs of documents necessary for an appeal, the documents will be provided without cost. You have the right to have a notice of appeal timely filed on your behalf.